Welcome or welcome back to A Game of Fangs and Thrones. My name's Hannah and this is an accidental book haul. If you've seen my last video, which was episode 2 of Read 9 by 1, you'll see that I did read 9 books, but then I kind of completely lost track of the rules of my own game and bought, over the course of a month, also this many books, plus a Kindle book. So we'll get the Kindle book out of the way because we know I don't know how to do the funky graphics yet. But the Kindle book is the Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jansen, the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom, which is a story in which we follow Aaron, I'm not 100% sure, and she has been brought up her whole life to believe that the king of the neighbouring country is evil, he's not very nice, and it is her job to kill him, marry him, and then kill him. But obviously things don't quite go the way anybody expects, unless, you know, this is like a new adult YA romance, so the readers know what's gonna happen. But how it gets there was a fun old time. The Traitor Queen is the sequel to that duology and the second in the overall series, because I believe the third book, The Inadequate Heir, follows Aaron's other sisters. So different duologies following different characters, all within the same world, I think. Don't quote me on that one. Then we have the stacks. So we'll start with the two hardbacks first. Most of these were bought new, apart from that doesn't need to be in that file, that just fell off. Most of these were bought new, apart from 3 which were bought from a charity shop. But we'll do the two hardbacks first. Now these are from Bookbox Club. They are unfortunately going out of business and having a bit of a sale. So I picked up 2 books and some other bits and bobs. The first book I picked up is The Beckoning Shadow by Catherine Blair. This follows Vesper, who can summon your worst fear and turn it into reality, but she'd rather not. This power is addictive and dangerous, but it's difficult to control and even harder to understand. One wrong move and someone you really care, you could hurt somebody you really care for. Chance Encounter introduces Vesper to people like her who also have special abilities. She finds them and they lead her to a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, which is a spot in the Tournament of the Unraveling. Competitors battle it out for a chance to rewrite the past, and it seems like they could be baseline humans or these extra human. But Vesper turns to Sam Hardy, who is a former MMA fighter. He's also carrying a tragedy he wants to undo. Helping heal Sam's heart will mean breaking Vesper's own heart, and the competition won't let her ignore her powers. And this did come with a signed book plate as well, so I'm interested in that one. That one wasn't on the wish list, but this one was, and this is Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters. I have heard a bit more about this one. It follows Shady Grove, who was her father's daughter through and through. I've never understood that phrase, but anyway. She's inherited his righteous curly hair, his devotion to bluegrass, and his ability to call ghosts from the grave with his fiddle. The cursed instrument drowned with him though when his car went off the road, taking with it the whispering ghosts, nightmares, and the grief and obsession that forced her daddy to play. But Shady's brother was just accused of murder, and so she has a choice to make: find the fiddle and the nightmares that sang her father to the grave so she can speak to the dead and prove her brother's innocence, or watch the only family she has left splinter to pieces. I've heard good things about this one. This did also come with a signed bookplate. Okay, now we're getting into the paperback, and I've organised this slightly differently to how I normally would, because I normally tend to organise by age range, which I don't have a clue half the time. It's just adult and not adult. No, it's YA. No, it's supposed to be YA, middle grade and adult, but sometimes I can't tell what's YA and what is adult, so it's just middle grade and not middle grade. This one is different. This is by the shops that I've bought them in. Even the hardbacks fit this category as well. So we'll do the charity shop books first. They are The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward, Story of a Murderer, Stolen Child Revenge. This is the story of Ted, who lives with his young daughter Lauren and his cat Olivia in an ordinary house at the end of an ordinary street. All these things are true, and yet some of them are lies. An unspeakable secret binds the family together, and when a new neighbour moves in next door, the truth may destroy them all. Because there's something in the buried in the dark forest at the end of Needless Street, but it's not what you think. This will probably be either a love it or a hate it. Then I have an Agatha Christie book. I have another of the Poirot books. This is the ABC Murders. This one I do know a bit more about, because this is a adaptation cover. I haven't seen this particular adaptation, but I have seen some Poirot adaptations. David Suchet is the best Poirot. That is my hill. That is the hill I will die on. But anyway, murder is a very simple crime, but in the hands of a maniac, a serial killer, it becomes a very complicated business. With the whole country in a state of panic, the killer is growing more confident with each successive execution. Mrs. Asher in Andover, Betty Barnard in Bexhill, Sir Carmichael Clark in Churston, but laying a trail of deliberate clues to taunt the proud Hercule Poirot might just be his first mistake. So he's the ABC killer. Then we have the finale to the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, The Stone Sky. I can't really talk too much about this one because obviously it is the third in a series, but this started with the 5th season, which is an apocalyptic world in which everything has gone to pot. The 5th season is a destructive extra season as opposed to summer, winter, autumn, spring. I really messed that order up, but you get the idea. And in this new apocalyptic world, there are people who have some sort of magic ability based in geography. They can feel the shifts in the earth that cause these earthquakes, and they are trained, but it's not happy-go-lucky for anybody at all. We follow 3 perspectives, and I'm not going to tell you anything more about that because of spoilers, and it's best to figure things out on your own. I haven't read the second book, but I do own it. That is... what's the second book called? The Obelisk Gate. This is actually quite small. That's concerning. Next books are from Tesco. Yes, I know I should be spending my money wisely, blah blah blah. But I was in Tesco. I was buying food and wine. So I bought 2 books. I bought Onyenka and the Academy of the Sun by Ntola Okagwu. If I've mispronounced that, I'm sorry. Can somebody please tell me how to pronounce it properly? But this follows Onyenka, whose hair is extraordinary, makes strangers stop in the street. I know that feeling with my purple hair, but I think it's hers is because it's black hair has a tendency to be noticed, especially in the UK. I've found it makes strangers stop in the street when she discovers she can control her hair with her mind. What once was an insecurity now becomes her superpower. I'd love to be able to control this. I think I'd get it to lie flat and maybe a bit more curl, but that would be cool. Onyenka is whisked off to the Academy of the Sun, a school in Nigeria, where Solari children with superpowers are trained. But soon Onyenka and her new friends find themselves caught up in an epic battle, one that puts the future of all Solari at risk. And is it? No, it doesn't seem to be illustrated, but should be a fun, quick read like most middle grades. And then we have the sequel to The Gilded Ones by Namina Fauna, which has been a while since I've read this, but okay. So we follow Decca, who is about to go through a purity type trial in her village. If her blood runs red, she's pure, she can stay. If her blood runs gold, she can't stay, she's exiled, I believe. But on the night of her ceremony, her blood runs gold. She is taken away to join a new army, and things just go from there. What I remember was it was a very fun, very gripping, interesting read that had themes of belonging, gender norms, I think, were in there. Sexuality was mentioned, as I think our main male character may have been Ace or gay. I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that one. Or he may have been a virgin. I can't fully remember, but I'm sure it'll come flooding back when I pick this one up. Then, because I have no chill, I went to Blackwell's. I only bought 2 books because these 2 weren't in the buy 3 for 2 offer that they do, and they are big chunky books. One is the start of a series, the other is a continuation. They are The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, the first book being The Eye of the World. This is obviously the start of the big massive series. Then we have Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, book 2 of the Farseer trilogy and book 2 of the Elderling realm as a whole. I can't talk too much about this one with it being a sequel, but I think everybody knows what the Hobb books are about. But basically, in the Farseer trilogy, we follow Fitz, who is the bastard-born son of the prince in waiting. Either way, he is half royalty, half common, and the king decides that puts Fitz in a very interesting position where he is royal, so he does have some power, some responsibility with the royal side of things, but he's also common, so he doesn't have, if something happens to him, it's not as drastic to the royal family as if, say, Fitz's uncle, the true-born son of the king, was hurt. And what makes this interesting is that Fitz is chosen at 6 or 7, I believe. He's fairly young at the start. He is trained to become the royalist. Okay, so we have possibly camera angle change. We definitely have outfit change, but we're going to finish the book haul. So I think the last clip was me talking about Royal Assassin and The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, Royal Assassin being by Robin Hobb. I'm not going to do a synopsis of them because I think this video is long enough, considering I'm not meant to be buying books. That book can go on my pile. So, first of all, these are all charity shop books. We have The Devil and the Dark Water by Stuart Turton. This is a book I've had my eye on for a while, and at like £2.50 you can't go wrong. So it's 1634 and Samuel Pepys, the world's greatest detective, is being transported to Amsterdam to be tried for a crime he may or may not have committed. No sooner is the Sardam out to sea than devilry begins to blight the voyage. Strange symbols appear on the sails, livestock are slaughtered, ominous whispers travel throughout the crowded deck, and the first murder occurs. With Pips imprisoned in the depths of the ship, can his loyal bodyguard Arent hears solve the mystery before the ship descends into anarchy. Anarchy? How you say? Sorry, I've been listening to Hamilton again. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see about that one. I think this is an older book. I remember the cover, but not much else. And then we have, I am annoyed that this is the movie cover, but what can you do? And this is The 100-Year-Old Man Who Climbed Out of the Window and Disappeared by Jonas Jonasson. I did read The Girl Who Saved the King of Sweden and laughed out loud, so I'm hoping this will do the same. Following Alan Carlson, who on his 100th birthday party he doesn't really want. Mayor will be there, press will be there, but as it turns out, Alan will not. Escaping in his slippers through his bedroom window into the flower bed, Alan makes his getaway, and so begins his picturesque and unlikely journey involving criminals, several murders, a suitcase full of cash, and incompetent police. As his escapades unfold, Alan's earlier life is revealed. A life in which, remarkably, he played a key role behind the scenes in some of the momentous events of the 20th century. I think this will just make me laugh. It might have some heartwarming moments, and we're here for that. Then we have The Boneless Mercies by April Genevieve Tucholke. This is a story of mercies and witches, of reeds and thorns, of women and giants. What more do you need? Frey, Orvi, Juniper and Runa are boneless mercies, death traders, hired to kill quickly, quietly and mercifully. I don't really want to read any more because women assassins, what more do you need? And then my bargain, £1.50. Yes, it is a mass market paperback. No, it doesn't match the other book I've got from Agatha Christie, but who cares? I have 3 Poirot books, I've read one. I think I'd talk about the other one in this haul actually. It's probably bought from the same charity shop. But this is Peril at End House. It is a Poirot book. On holiday on the Cornish Riviera, Hercule Poirot is allowed to hear pretty Nick Buckley describe her recent accidental brushes with death. First on a treacherous Cornish hillside, the brakes on her car failed. Then on a coastal path, a falling boulder missed her by inches. Later, an oil painting fell and almost crushed her in bed. So when Poirot finds a bullet hole in Nick's sun hat, he decides that this girl needs his help. Can he find the would-be killer before he hits his target? Probably, because Hercule Poirot is brilliant. And sorry about the fact that this footage is all choppy, changey, what have you, and I don't have a stack. I am not pulling them all out of here just for a picture. Not happening. Not this time. But yeah, that's it for this video. Give it a like if you like it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.